Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Players Lounge at Clemson. I'm your host, Darian Rencher, and this platform is for all your favorites, players, legends, current coaches, special guests, all the above. And today, we're enjoying one of my favorites, hometown hero for me, Anderson legend, T.O. Hanna legend. And then get into Clemson was one of the pivotal moments of what has made the Swinney Era. He was the top linebacker in the country, the Jack Lambert Award given in 2016. He was a defensive MVP in the national championship, which makes him also a national champion. He was a co-defensive ACC Player of the Year in 2016. Team captain, left with as many accolades as you could leave for his position. But we were joined by the Junkyard dog, Ben Boulware.
Hello. Happy. I can't date this.
Don't date it.
I won't date this. Happy day.
Happy day. Well, brother, how you doing?
I'm living my best life. It's almost the weekend. I did dry January.
Okay.
So I'm ready to crush a beer.
Come on, look.
Getting close.
Look, this is the legend show. You can say what you want to say on here. This is the legend show. But bro, we're gonna go current things. Obviously, you are a legend here. You're not washed, but you are the honorable.
Not washed. I appreciate that.
Look, you're not washed.
There's some folks that are washed. So
Look, you're not washed.
We're blessed. Thank you.
I feel like the dope, like to me, obviously people, you and Batson have owned the videos at the Clemson football games. How does that feel?
You're talking about the big screen
the
ones?
opening
Dude,
video.
I was so stoked. They the video guy, I guess that would have been not this past year, but the year before that, he randomly hit me about wanting to do the video. Right. I'm like, you talking about like the video? No. I'm like, bro, I would be so freaking thankful and so hyped to do it. And so that was I guess that the previous year was super fun getting to see that. Hopefully they get to ask me again. I don't know if I can top B-Dog. Get on if I can top. He was hyped. He was super hyped. So we would love to. You got both of us together. That'd be a cool video.
That'd be
a cool one.
But y'all two, to me, epitomize get everybody hype, get everybody crazy before the game, lose your mind before the people run down the hill. So
you always need that one guy.
You always need that one.
Who was y'all's guy?
Skowski.
Okay.
Ben Jr.
Skowski's a little freaking. That's my guy. But I actually. When I experienced Skowski, it was I was a senior. He was a freshman,
correct.
So he was probably a little bit more timid. So I know, bro, his senior year,
he came
had the cowboy collar. So I know he probably
6 years too. Come
buck wild. Yeah, he's 35 years old playing linebacker. So I know he got hyped. So he was definitely a good one.
He came into himself. Yeah, shout out to Skowski. But look, get into. I feel like you have one of the more decorated careers at Clemson. Obviously, you left on top of the mountain, roll off into the sunset as best as you could at Clemson. But just let's go back memory lane. Why did you come to Clemson?
So I came to Clemson because I feel like it was just fate for Boulwares to come to Clemson. My grandpa played in the 50s.
Yeah.
And he gave me one of his jerseys a couple months ago. Dude, this thing was like a 3/4 sleeve, probably as thick as your sweatpants. Wow. Wild how just –
they playing with no face mask.
They're playing with no face mask, like sweaters. But he played in the 50s. My grandma came here. My mom came here. My older brother played baseball here. My little sister came here. Almost all of my cousins came here. And I was going to go to Georgia. I remember being in Mark Richt's office crying when he offered me a scholarship. I'm like, one, this is pretty cool. Like you were talking to Mark Richt. And knowing that, like, hey, I don't know if Clemson's going to offer. So Clemson was the last school to offer me a scholarship, which ultimately pissed me off because I'm 25 minutes on the road. But I think once Georgia offered and I started putting out there, like, yo, I may be a Bulldog, within, I think, a week, Clemson offered. And I try to play hardball, like, hey, guys, I'm going to consider my options. And then 2 days later, I commit. So ultimately, I'm a homebody. My whole family came here. I still haven't left from a business standpoint. I live 15 minutes on the road, so I'm going to die born in the upstate, die in the upstate. So,
what about like the program? What about Coach Swinney that kind of drew you in? Obviously being local. But
yeah, I mean, I've said that a million times, but like, you know this, everyone knows this. Like what the public thinks about Coach Swinney is exactly what we experienced. Right. Dude is creme de la creme when it comes from obviously a coaching standpoint, but you don't get a lot of coaches like him who check the box from a leadership standpoint, from like a wise counsel standpoint, from a husband, a father, a Christian. Like, dude checks every single box. Yeah. So super thankful and I know you are as well, like we probably didn't realize it while we were there. I know I didn't, but looking back, getting to get tapped into by the Dabo Swinneys of the world and the Brent Venables of the world and the Tony Elliott's, like, bro, they're freaking top of the line.
Top tier men.
Top tier, like, who cares about football? Like, top tier dudes.
Correct.
So super, like, thankful to have them pour into us when you're in those pivotal ages of 18 to 21, not knowing what the F's going on. Like, you get some guys like that, that's a blessing that a lot of people don't get to experience.
No, I agree. I think that the older you get, it's kind of like a gift that keeps on giving. You realize how special that time was, and also the lessons they become more real.
For sure. You remember those Mondays, and definitely Mondays, how long Swinney would just rap.
Right.
You're like, bro, shut up. You'd be there for an hour and a half. But, dude, I would pay money to be able to go back and, like, take notes on some of that stuff.
Because it's gold.
Gold. So much gold. But I remember, like, all the 4 years just sitting there, working your way up to the front. I'm like, oh, this is going to be such a long meeting. He's about to rap for hours. But then now, looking back, like, bro, I bet he had some nuggets of wisdom that I wish I would have written down.
Yeah, Swinney's full-time pastor, motivational speaker, part-time football coach.
Part-time football coach.
Yeah, because it's like and honestly, like I said, I think even when you come into the program, obviously you have like this respect, but then it kind of grows. He's not a perfect, man. The program's not perfect.
Right.
But you see just the authenticity, the effort to make it the place as best as it can be, and then obviously just the results.
Right. Yeah, people know that it's like it's different here. And it's like difficult to put a finger on like what it is, but I always say it starts at the top. When you got like a leader like him, it just trickles down into everything.
To all the people, all the coaches.
All the people, all the systems, all the processes. And you don't have Swinney come. When he came, there's no we wouldn't be here right now.
Sure.
But the whole trajectory of just the city of Clemson would be so different. So it starts at the top. If you have an elite leader, like more times than not, things will work out. You get a trash one, like one, they ain't gonna stay there long. But yeah, this city, the city of Clemson owes a lot of money to Dabo Swinney of what he's done for this area.
Right. No, it's definitely raised everything, which is how it should be.
Yeah.
Bro, going back to when you came into Clemson, the program, like when you were there. When you came in, it was in like a special spot. I feel like y'all were the beginning of what.
Right.
Obviously, we're going to get back to the mountaintops. A lot of guys have said have come onto the platform. But before we knew what the golden age was about to look like, that 5 to 6 year
Who
run
knew?
that we had, you were part of like the foundational period to build that. Like, what was the state of the program?
Well, I think Swinney was probably getting to a like maturity level where he's probably learning a lot of things. I'm sure he had a lot of wise counsel in his life where he's like growing as a football coach, as a leader, but also you get these guys like Grady Jarrett, like Eric McLean, like Taj Boyd, and Stephon Anthony. Like you get some really good, obviously athletes, but they're like, did you get to play with Grady?
I didn't play with
Grady. Grady, I mean, like obviously Grady's done what he's done, but dude was a dude. Yeah. Like obviously an incredible football player, but from a leadership standpoint, like you didn't mess around with him. So I think like I put a lot of it on Grady. Like Grady was elite, dude, like an awesome leader and led by example, didn't take no for an answer. So I think when you get Swinney on the come up from like a leadership standpoint, obviously learning more about ball, but then you get some good assistant coaching. You get Coach V, who's got to be the bad guy, which every program needs, which would have been a problem for us recently. We don't have a Coach V, and there's a huge leadership vacuum when you have V leave. But when you have that, you get these Gradys, these Eric McLeans, or some dogs. Like that recipe with time is going to work out, you know. And then when they graduate, like they pour into us, and then 2016, we just hit on all cylinders, but. I mean, look back, dude. We got some dogs. Some dogs, some good coaches who are now head coaches.
Right. The coaching tree is getting
dude, yeah. So I put a lot of it is obviously talent. When you're like a Clemson, you have to have elite talent. But like, dude, we could, just from a leadership standpoint, you could have an entire podcast on so many examples from that season of just like high level leadership.
Just big decisions that people don't know that lead to all the moments that people love.
They have no clue of like the meetings we had before meetings, the like leadership meetings where we had all like you have like multiple seniors and a couple juniors, like one sophomore, one freshman. Like we got into the weeds in those meetings. Yeah, so many examples of just like high level leadership that I think is what allowed us to.
Because you need it all in the pot, and hopefully you get those special years where it all comes together. But bro, before we get, because I want to get to, that's a lot to unpack for 2016. Let's talk about Boulware coming to Clemson. You are one of the many hotheads that come through Clemson, fiery guys, fierce competitor. Like, what was it like coming to your own? Because obviously, like the first couple years you were playing, but not playing crazy. But then you finally came to your own, like probably sophomore year, junior year.
Well, I think it's whether it's like football or business or like your personal life, when you do till the soil for a long time and I have to be patient. Like for me, my freshman and sophomore year, like just had to put my head down, be consistent, keep working, not let like it get to me that I wasn't playing well. But then you get to your junior year finally, or really just for my sophomore year, I got to start I think 3 games my sophomore year. So I had to be patient for a year, but I worked, dude. Like, I was in the film room. I was putting in the hours in the weight room. So for me to experience fruit against Louisville, against Oklahoma, it was super rewarding. Like, okay, I can play at this level. But, I guess I'll speak on, like, from a stature standpoint. Like, me and you are not the tallest guys, not the fastest or most athletic. So when you get out there and you can make plays – or when you have multiple long runs, you're like, okay.
It's confirmation.
Bro, I can do this. I'm like, I fit in out here. So that was super rewarding for me because I put in. Like,
What was the moment you realized, like, was there, what game or what moment?
Louisville. Yeah, so when I played Louisville my sophomore year was my first game I ever started. I, 2 weeks before, tried to quit. Because I felt like I was getting screwed because I was grading out really well. I was performing in practice. And I think me and Tony Stewart were really, really close from a starting standpoint. And, Swinney, he's always going to give it to the senior. And that's I agree with that. That's how it should be done. But as you're a 19-year-old sophomore, you're like, bro, I need to be starting. And I wasn't. So I go to V because I felt like he was just obviously on me. Everyone knows how much he rode me. So I broke down. I remember calling my parents. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to concrete. Like, I'm quitting. I am leaving school. I'm hanging the cleats up. Like, Dad, get me a role in sales at the concrete company. Right. So I go to V after practice. After he dogged me out, I got 1 rep with the ones. I set the front the wrong way. He rips me in front of the whole team. And after the team huddle, I'm like, dude, I'm leaving. I'm hanging the cleats up. And he laughed at me. So we ultimately, long story short, had a long conversation about like why he thinks I should not quit. I obviously don't quit. And then I think the following week we were going into Louisville and he gave me a pity start because he's like, I'm going to let this kid see what he can do. I don't want him leaving. So he gave me a pity start. And dude, I set the tone. I graded out really well. I knew of like, I think Swinney said this a lot, like just I'll mess it up, but just like you have limited opportunities when you play at that level. Correct. And it's like gone like that. That's football. That's life. Like, you got limited opportunities to make the most out of them. So for me, I knew like it's my first time, maybe my only time. So, bro, I studied, like knew the ins and outs of their offense. And when you're in the middle, like you have to beat the quarterback. So I'm playing alongside Stephon. Bro, I got freaking some dogs and for great, like all these elite dudes. Like we had Grady, Carlos, Shaq. Some dogs in front of me. So I got
Dobbs was still there.
Dude, some dudes on that sophomore. We're the best defense in the country in my sophomore year. Like, we're number 1. So, for me, I had to be prepared. Like, a young dude, I'm the only sophomore on the field. So, went into it not leaving no stone unturned and graded out really well. It was I believe, like, defensive player of the week. Right. So, for me, being the young guy on the defense, the only sophomore that started and to play and grade well, I was like, all right, okay. I should be.
What's your favorite Coach V memory? Because obviously he played a pivotal role in your career, so your life. So
the one that's
shout out to Jimmy Green Beans. What's your
my so God, dude! I ended up texting him. So he was like, I was driving to our Clemson location the other day, and he just like popped in my mind. I'm like, I need to pray for this dude. Like, pray for him and his family and his wife. And so we'll text like probably, I'd say every month. Yeah. Like, that's my guy. We had breakfast for 2 hours at Waffle House during the spring of last year. So he came down for spring ball, did a workout, beat it up, and we had breakfast for 2 hours. Just great conversation.
Yeah.
So my freshman year, you know, when you're in bowl season, all of the folks that aren't starting and the freshmen, bowl practice.
JV ball.
God, you got to do scrimmages after you just practice for 2 hours. Right. So I'm a freshman. We're in bowl season. We haven't left yet, and we're doing a scrimmage. He dogged me all practice. I wasn't really playing much, but he just decided to still dog me. So we get into like the last half of that practice. We're doing a scrimmage, and he, like, play after play after play, calls me the P word. And people are so soft. They're going to be so offended now that, like, coaches say that, bro, it's football. Y'all get over it. That offends you. Right. You probably didn't play football. But for, like, the first 15 plays, will call me a P word. Like, you're a mother effing P word. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm many things. I ain't no P word.
Right.
So it finally got to me, and they did a little – so I can't remember who was on the offense, but I remember one guy was on the offense. So Seth Ryan.
Oh, wow.
So who's balling right now? Like, in the coaching in the league right now, Rex's son. Right. Good folk, but like 5'10", buck 30. Soaking wet. So they did a little swing pass to him. V just dogged me for 15 plays straight. And I'm like crying because he pissed me off so much. Did a little swing route. I'm on top of it, and I catch Seth. Mid-air. And we all, like, obviously know about the Syracuse play. Right. When I tell you it was that times a million. Like, picked him up. Like, with the Syracuse play, I picked him up and just fell back with him. With Seth, I picked him up and just, like, stood up and then just dumped him on his head. Probably almost killed him. And dropped him on his head, like, picked him up whole body over my head and just flipped him. Ran straight back to V, and I was like, I am many things, but I am not an MF'n P word. And he just stared at me and then got back in. So if Seth Ryan sees this, bro, I love you. I'm sorry that I had to take it out on you, but that's one that many people don't know. Yeah. But that was just me and V's relationship. Like, we got into it, and he was always right. I'm 18, 19, right. Have no clue what's going on, but he definitely brought it out of me.
No, he's a pivotal part of Swinney Era. Like,
pivotal part, dude. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, like him, Coach E, and obviously they moved on. Now it's like a new era, honestly, with the new coaching staff. But yeah, shout out to V. Getting into, like, you start alluding to some special moments when I think back of Ben Boulware's career. Let's just go through. We'll get the big plays. I just want you to talk about to me, you were part of a lot of those tombstone wins. You know, a lot of the wins that people look back over, like the 14, 15, 16, what kind of led to, obviously, us winning a Natty. What are the moments you feel like chronological order that kind of led up to the championship? Like, think about games. Think about 14. I think about the Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, so I can speak on. We'd be here an hour if we had to talk about all the years. But my senior year,
give me big games. Give me junior big games, like junior big moments.
I mean, obviously Notre Dame. Junior year, that was super pivotal, and just from like an awareness standpoint of our program, yeah, dude. Like, I mean, for a lot of Clemson fans, that's like all time. Greatest game ever. That game was wild, bro.
That was my junior year in high school. I was actually at that game. That's Hurricane. What was
Hurricane? Yeah, bro. So it was a legit hurricane. Yeah,
hurricane, whatever.
Yeah, so
monsoon, ponchos out. It's like 4 feet of water when you walk out the stadium. I'm trying to think. I think it was like official visits for a lot of kids that day.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was the first time we played Notre Dame in forever. So it was at home. So
top 5 matchup.
Yeah, that was the all-time great game in Clemson history. The Florida State game that year was an awesome game. And then you get into my senior year, going down to Auburn, like, and winning in Auburn was a great game. And then even before that, dude, like, I feel like the summer conditioning and the fall camp going in our senior year was just different because we lost.
Piss everybody off.
Bro, I used to piss people off because we lost my junior year, and you would have been in high schools, right?
Yeah, I came my freshman year.
Yeah, bro, like, I'm one of the guys on the defense, and we lost, and I had an awful game my junior year in that Natty, and then see all these seniors, like, walking off the field for the last time, like, they ain't gonna get no other opportunity. So for me, I'm like, bro, I'm not about to let some underclassmen like I just did mess up my opportunity. So going into my senior year, bro, I just went 0 dark 30. Like
after every, so obviously if you know football, you got summer condition. We do 110s. And you used to have like
2 more for Auburn.
Yeah, you used to have.
But that was stadiums.
Yeah, I know. We used to have like 20 already. And they probably dumbed it down now because all the new conditioning rules.
Oh, my God.
But we used to have 2110s to pass the test. So everybody in like the time shaves down like every 5. So it's like, all right, you got 18
seconds. Got big speed,
16 seconds.
speed.
You got 14 seconds. And it's like 19, 20. Everybody's dog tired. And everybody's like, we done. Everybody's starting to clap it up. Ben's like,
cuz.
Let's do 2 more. Who gonna say something?
No, you know who said something? What was that? That left tackle who was a freshman. He was yadded up, big beard. But there was one instance in the indoor where, like, I was like, dude, we're doing 2 more for Auburn, and these just fat linemen just get so pissed. I'm not doing it. I'm like, we're gonna see about that, and we got in each other's faces. Buddy's 6'6", and we ended up doing 2 more. And then in the stadiums, or I remember like. We're running stadiums, and it was like the end of summer conditioning. I'm like, we're doing 2 more for Auburn. And you just hear, man, F you, screw you. I'm like, we going to still do the, y'all going to be mad. We going to still do it. But I think, looking back, like, bro, that stuff pays off. And, like, I can't speak on the, like, way of football right now because I'm not there. But, like, and this is another thing we could get really into the weeds. But, like, some of these young dudes, like the distractions that they have right now, bro, all we had was ball. Like, there was no money involved. There was no, like, NIL stuff. Like, so I feel people ask my opinion on NIL, and that's not your question, but, like, I can't speak on it because when we were there, it was school, football.
You would have got some bread.
Sure, I'd like to think I would have got something. It all worked out, but, like, from a distraction standpoint, especially when you're in that pivotal age of 18 to 21, 22, like, when you got some big money being thrown around, like, bro, like, I think that's why we were so successful is because there's no distractions. Yeah. So that stuff, like the fact that we had no distractions, it was just ball, just school, and then just like normal college life, and then we had some like elite like leaders and dogs on that defense, and we had Deshaun and Wayne, and then we were willing to work like. So the 4th season, and then all the stuff. It all
mixed together to make like
it's a perfect recipe.
You know, I will say NIL, because shout out to One to Society. This is somewhat partnered with them, but the Legend episode is a little different. I would say there's no way to lead around it. You gotta lead through it, and so it is what it's not. You definitely would have made some bread, especially off the beer. You could have been early.
I would have liked to have made some bread.
You could probably had the businesses going sooner. You didn't walk away with some hefty pockets. But all right, going back to this, because we're gonna finish with the Natty. Is I think about Notre Dame game, obviously, huge play by you. I think that was, to me, I think.
Me and Carlos. People put it on me because Herb Street said Boulware.
Correct.
But I hopped on Carlos's back. So, hey, we appreciate it, dog. But I know Carlos, every time he sees that or, like, sees it get plugged to me, I'm like, bro, I know he's pissed. But it was Carlos plugged that thing, and I just kind of rode his coattails. But, me and my dog, Los.
Yeah, shout out to Los. Now, I think about, obviously, like I said, get into the 2016 season. Y'all came back. What was it like losing to Alabama in 2015? Just give me quick first thoughts come to your mind. Obviously it sucked, but
super tough because we allowed the moment to be too big for us. It was our first time playing in it in, I guess, 34 years. Yeah. So you're playing in that stadium. You're across the freaking country. You got Alabama. You got Derrick Henry in front of you. And I know I wasn't prepared. Like, it was my first time playing in that big of a game, so it was not prepared at all. I had multiple misplays, missed tackles, missed gaps. So from a defensive standpoint, we left a lot on the table. So like a lot of guys were just not prepared. So that was tough. But then obviously getting the chance for redemption was great. Yeah,
and I think when people talk about it, like I feel like even when Swinney talks about it, he says like the 2015 year was the year we thought we could be there. You know, we didn't know we belonged. We thought we could be there. 2016 we get into like we knew we belonged. Quick Ben story, and then we're gonna finish up 2016. Is we're sitting at shout out to Clemson people, y'all know this. We're sitting at Potbelly and Deli, PBD. It's me, Ben, one of our mentors, Riley Cummins, and it's like I want to say it's like 2 weeks before camp. It's like right before camp.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there chopping up, and like we had this slogan, and we ain't gonna say the actual word, but it was we had bracelets made for the whole team. Ben got them made. It was BAB. It's in his gym now. BABOGTW, and it's be a baby for the internet, but be a blank or go to work. And he got it made for the whole team, and that was like the slogan for the whole year. So everybody got put in the locker. I think still to this day, somebody might have that dingy white bracelet.
Sure. Yeah, first dingy white bracelet.
Still on their wrist. But that was a slogan for the year. And really, I feel like you set the tone for that year of what it was going to be. Obviously, big wins. And honestly, it's crazy because I look back and because obviously I was there for 18. But 16, I think every game was like a touchdown game. I think
right. Yeah, it was. There were a couple that we pulled away, but they were definitely
Auburn,
nail biters.
Louisville.
Yeah, so that Louisville is one of those games for me where I was like, yeah, I belong.
Yeah,
I'm a dog. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm like that game was top 5 matchup, playing against a Lamar Jackson, and then like playing what we did. I'm like, I definitely should be here.
What do you remember most about the game? Preparing for Lamar.
Just being confident, like knew that if we could keep him in the box, that it would be difficult, but it wouldn't be that difficult. Yeah, see, obviously it was still a nail biter, but bro, just the preparation for that game, game day, top 5, Deshaun,
that was
Lamar,
probably the hardest I've ever seen Clemson.
Bro,
night game in the Valley.
That game, that was my, other than the Natty, that was my like just most memorable game. I remember running out in the field for the first snap. I'm like, yo, this is wild.
Yeah, it was rocking.
Wild, rocking, bro. Night game, and then you see Lamar Jackson in front of you, and they had some just dogs on that off the line. That they were. You want to speak about teams running their mouth? Boy, Louisville, the tight ends, O-line, receivers, everybody were just chopping it up every play. So that was a freaking wild game. So going into that, like I knew, like this is game day, top 5, Lamar Jackson, like we got to be prepared. So for us to not play not perfect, but
we won.
Win the game. We had like 100+ snaps. Cook season. So that was definitely a pivotal matchup for us, knowing we can win on that stage. So yeah, one of the many nail biters that year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, going into the Natty. Now I got some rapid fire questions for Ben Boulware. What did it feel like? You know, because obviously for you it was a redemption, and it happened. You know, and we had dreamed about it. Swinney had put it on the vision board the entire year. Like that was, we're going to Tampa. We're going to win it all, blah, 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 blah. You know, and we all believed it. Yeah. And obviously every year doesn't work out like that, but it finally happened, like the perfect ending to a really good story for
Right.
you.
I think for us, just like all of like the ups and downs throughout the season, like coming out of our 15 year of losing, and then all of just like the work we put in, winter conditioning, spring, summer, fall camp, and then like going through the season, losing to Pittsburgh. Everyone else loses that night, so we didn't drop too far. And then like you go into Tampa, and like us as a defense meeting before meetings. Like so all of those like super small memories. I think a combination of like the leaders we had on the team, like we had Christian Wilkins, we had Cleveland Farrell, we had Kendall Joseph, we had Wayne Gallman, like we had some dudes out there. So the combination of the leadership, the talent we had, the coaching we had, and I think our willingness to just like, bro, put our head down and go to work, all of that put into a blender, that's what wins a national championship. So
I'm glad Bo Scarborough did not finish that game.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, from my perspective, he was more difficult to tackle than Derrick Henry. You get Derrick Henry behind the line, it's not that bad. You get him ahead of steam, will murder people. Obviously, what he's done, he's a Hall of Famer now. But I'm thinking Bo Scarborough, same size, like grown man, boy. I bounced off him. And I don't know. I think he might be like CFL still playing.
Yeah, no, but it's whoever.
Bro,
Bo Scarborough
when
was like
we
that.
played in my 15 year, Derrick Henry was not hard to tackle because he just runs super tall, but he gets downhill, very difficult. But Bo Scarborough, him and James Conner bounced off them dudes. Yeah. James Conner broke my helmet in half. Swear to God. We lost to Pittsburgh. My face mask, and my helmet split in half when I hit him.
You had to get a new helmet?
Yes. I had to go. I literally probably had a concussion. Had to go out of the game, get a new helmet because he split it in half. Hey, James Conner, like, I mean, he's still playing, but him, Lamar, Dalvin Cook, those are my top 3 that I played against.
You played against.
Yes. James Conner, number 1. When I tell you, dude would tote. Ask Dorian O'Daniel.
I remember the play.
Friggin' bounced off him. So I'm James Conner, tote that thing. Yeah. Telling you.
That's elite. That's elite list. But yeah, winning it. All right, famous moment for you. you get a speech. Was it premeditated?
Nah, I pulled that thing out of my butt. I already knew. I was like, bro, I don't want to say any F word. I knew going into it, I'm like, I can't cuss.
Correct.
But then 2, I was like, I got to like show love to the dudes that poured into us. Yeah. I would be 1, like a poor leader, but 2, that'd be a disservice to the guys that like just tapped into us. Correct. So those are really the 2 things. And you would get that mixed with adrenaline, and you just play a full football game, or you just let it rip. And yeah, it was definitely a fun night. It was a cool way to end it. And then I just wanted to make sure that those dudes knew, like, bro, like we wouldn't be here without like the work that y'all put in a couple of years ago. So laying the bricks, and we just finished that thing.
Hopefully the next one they get, you're gonna be the name gets mentioned.
All right, that'd be cool.
It would be
maybe.
Cool. Nah, maybe for sure. All right, rapid fire. Last to finish up with you is give me top plays of your career, just off the top of your head.
I think the Syracuse play was probably the most fun, probably the most memorable for a lot of people. The whole Louisville game, my senior year, that was the best game I ever had in my entire career against Lamar. And then one play that I pride myself in is the Natty game my senior year, where dude, the ball is going right here. Like, guys, come here. They do the motion, and they're in that certain formation. It's the down and distance, and all the keys are lining up. Like, dude, come right here. The ball is coming right here, so I'll wave him over, and Kendall gets the TFL. So that was – people don't know. Like, I don't probably bring up that play a lot, but for that to happen, like, we prepared – obviously, just the last game of your career, we were so prepared for that game and knew, like, on the back of our hand what they were about to do. Because if you are smart enough and mature enough to not let the moment get too big for you, you can really simplify offenses. When it gets to personnel, down and distance, like, a lot of offenses are going to do very few things. Yeah. So for us going to that game, we really simplified it. So if that was a really cool play, I would say that's up there with the Syracuse play for me, just being able to know exactly where the ball was going. Sure. And then a couple of times in that game, we were able to do that. So that game in general, obviously, was just we hit on all cylinders. So that was a fun one.
All right, favorite Swinneyism that you remember?
God. What's the long one where he's like, your thoughts turn into your, I know you know it because you said it before. That's the one I've always, I obviously don't remember now.
It's like your thoughts turn into your beliefs turn into your actions turns into reality.
Yeah.
It's like the
corny, it's
the Gandhi joint.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, so that one, and then there's probably a million others. Obviously, just probably favorite Swinney memories was like the 1 to 2 times you see him blow up. Like, I'll never forget when he lost his mind on Corinne Wiggins or Ryan Carter when we're going to the Natty, our 15 year. That's why we should win. Like, we had some meatheads on that 15 team. Like, a lot of talent, but just like there was a leadership gap on that team, and you just had some young meatheads. Yeah. So seeing him rip Corinne Wiggins for wearing a New York Yankees hat was super funny. And then Ryan runs out in his boxers, and ESPN gets him on TV, like hopping on the bus in his boxers. So I have a video on my phone of Swinney still
for the clip. And he gave a context. So basically he's saying, I was on the team. I remember you told me the story. 2015, they're going, where was the playoff game at?
Arizona. We're leaving to go to the airport.
It was in AZ, and they get on the bus, and basically the whole team, it's like after a walkthrough, you shower, you put on your suit. You about to get on the plane, and we about to take off. Apparently, shout out to YC, love YC.
Meathead, good folk, but it's meathead.
Bro missed the time or something and was running down the bus.
He got his stuff cleaned in Anderson. So he got his stuff cleaned in Anderson. We're leaving, and he's about to miss the bus. And he runs on the bus legit in his pants below his ankles, and the ESPN camera. There's a clip of him like ESPN following him. So Swinney sees it. And it's our first time playing in that game in forever. So like we're not starting off strong, and then. I think he does that to Ryan, and then he's like, as he's ripping Ryan, he sees Corinne in his suit, but just wearing a Yankees hat. And you got Corinne Wiggins wearing an effing Yankees hat, and Corinne's just sitting there like, bro, like, relax. So that was just a funny moment because Swinney didn't do that a lot, but he has it in him, So there was. The list is too long of all the Swinney isms or Dabo-isms, but that's just fun memories. He ripped me one time, which is all my fault. But yeah, that's my dog.
Last couple. Tell me your What's your proudest moment now when you watch the team? What makes you most hype?
What makes me most hype is when I see the dudes playing out there with like a fire and like getting hype. Like that gets me freaking juice. When you see guys flying around, like dapping each other up, like playing like a team. Again, like we can speak on the NIL. We don't have to, but it's like so many distractions right now, and it's like I understand a lot of the things of it, but also understand all the dangers of it and how like the business side of things. And it's very difficult to have like a really tight locker room and a camaraderie like we used to have. So when you see guys playing in this way of the world right now, and like being like just a football team, that stuff's cool.
Yeah, no,
like it's still, you can still, okay, they still got it. Like it's still like it used to be.
Yeah, what would you say? Obviously, people support you for a long time. Clemson family to me is bar none. What would you say to Clemson fans out there?
I would tell the Clemson fans to be patient because it's probably not your thought I was going to say.
Say what you want.
I feel like these past couple of seasons were probably necessary, like a good just cleansing. And everyone, like there's like so many different dynamics that Swinney's having to navigate. Like, because he's probably having to lead a lot of the coaches because we've had a lot of coaches leave and we have a lot of young coaches. So it's been very difficult for him having to lead the team, like be a good football coach, but also like lead the players and lead the coaches because you've got so many young coaches. So I think that's been a learning curve for Swinney because he hadn't really had to rely on that. Like he just was a CEO and he got Coach V and Scott and Elliott doing their thing. But now he's having to lead both. So I think that was a challenge that he had to navigate through. And then all the dynamics of just NIL right now has been super difficult from a leadership and a coaching standpoint. But I think, like, the good will always prevail. You know, like, bro, sure. Swinney's soul and his heart and the way he does things, like, he'll always –
it's inevitable.
Some people will disagree, and, like, I always back that man. Like, I know what he's made of. So I'm not saying he's perfect, but, like – I know and I can vouch for that man's soul. So, like, I know that, like, he'll always do the things the right way. People may disagree with it, but I think, like, with time, those things always will prevail. So, I say all that to say, like, our time is coming to get back on the mountaintop. We'll probably have to be a little patient as we navigate this just lunatic world we're in right now.
That's a good answer. What would you say in appreciation to the fans, though? Let's leave us with that.
I would say there's nothing like the Clemson University, the fan base. It's just like it's so difficult to put a word to or like a finger on, but it's just different here because it's such a like small town community. Everyone knows everybody, and I feel like as the university and the community's grown, like that feel has like stayed the same, which I think allows Clemson to be unique. So I would just encourage us to stick to our roots. You know, like don't be someone we're not. Like, and I think that's what's allowed us to be successful is like we do things our way and do things Swinney's way, and I feel like that'll allow us to get back to the mountaintop.
All right, shout out to Clemson family. Look, I'm gonna plug Biggs. He's gonna plug himself. Ben Boulware, legend at Clemson, is now a business owner. If you want to work out, you've been making New Year's resolutions for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you need a place to work out, go check out the Junkyard. We have 4 locations. We got one in Anderson, one in Clemson, 2 in Greenville. I'll go to the one in Malden.
Come on. So
shout out to the boy. What you want to say real quick?
Can I plug myself?
Plug yourself.
Yeah.
Bro.
So just double down. If you're in Anderson, Greenville, Clemson, or Malden, South Carolina, we're a class-based studio. We'll have treadmills, cycles, rowers, and a bunch of functional lifting. Would love to have y'all be a part of it. If you're looking for a way to salvage your fitness routine, come to the Junkyard.
Shout out to the boy. Look, it's amazing. It's great. If you're in town for a game on Saturdays, you want to work out before a night game, pull up. Well, look, another episode. Thank you for tuning in. The Players Lounge at Clemson. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We'll be back with another episode next week. Peace.